In a bustling train station, amidst the chaos of greetings and goodbyes, there's a quiet corner where an old man sits. His name is Lucas, and for 30 years, this bench has been his world. Every day, from the first train to the last, he watches, he waits. The station staff knows him, the regulars nod to him, but few know the story etched into the lines on his face. It all began on a sunny afternoon 3 decades ago. This very platform was where he last saw Sophia, the love of his life. She was a painter, with eyes that saw the world in vibrant colors and a laugh that could silence the loudest train whistle. They had a whirlwind romance, the kind storybooks are written about. But Sophia had a dream, to study art in a city far away. "I'll be back in a year," she promised, her hand in his. "Wait for me right here, on this bench, on this day." Lucas promised he would. The first year was filled with letters, each one a brushstroke of her new life, each one ending with, "I'll be home soon." Lucas read them until the ink faded, his heart swelling with anticipation. The day of her promised return arrived. He wore the same suit he wore when they first met, a single rose in his hand. He waited. The sun set, the station emptied, but Sophia's train never brought her. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The letters stopped coming. Worry gnawed at him. He wrote to her old address, but his letters were returned, unopened. He tried to find information, but it was like she had vanished. Friends told him to move on, that she must have forgotten him. But how could he break a promise? The hope in his heart, though flickering, refused to die, so he kept coming back. The station changed around him. Steam engines were replaced by electric ones. Fashion evolved. Payphones disappeared. But Lucas remained, a constant figure on his bench. He became a local legend, the waiting man. People would sometimes leave him a coffee or a newspaper. A young journalist once tried to write his story, but Lucas just smiled and said, "I'm just keeping a promise." He never saw it as a sad tale, but a testament to his love. He watched generations grow up. Children who once pointed at him in curiosity now rushed past with their own families. Through it all, his gaze never wavered from the arriving trains. He imagined her stepping off, her hair a little grayer, her eyes still sparkling. He'd rehearsed the moment 1,000 times. He wouldn't be angry. He'd just open his arms and say, "You're late." One crisp autumn afternoon, a young woman with a familiar artistic flair sat beside him. She was sketching in a notepad. She noticed him looking and smiled. "You're Lucas, aren't you?" she asked softly. Lucas nodded, surprised. "My grandmother told me about you," she continued, her voice gentle. "Her name was Sophia." Lucas's heart stopped. The young woman explained that Sophia had passed away years ago from an illness she contracted while abroad. She had never forgotten Lucas. In her final days, she spoke of the man waiting at the station, her biggest regret being that she never made it back. She had left behind a box of letters, all addressed to Lucas, all unsent. Her last wish was for her granddaughter to find him and tell him that she loved him and that she was sorry. She handed Lucas a small, worn photograph. It was Sophia, older, but with the same radiant smile he remembered. Tears welled up in Lucas's eyes for the first time in 30 years. He wasn't crying from sadness, but from relief. His wait was not in vain. Her love had been as constant as his. The next day, for the first time in 3 decades, the bench was empty. Lucas was no longer the waiting man. He had kept his promise, and in the end, her love had found its way back to him. His story reminds us that true love isn't about being together, but about the promises we keep in our hearts, forever. Thank you for watching.
The mailman always came at 10, regular as clockwork. But this package, it arrived just as the sun was setting, dropped on my doorstep by a courier I didn't recognize. No return address, just my name scrawled across the top in a handwriting that was eerily familiar. It felt heavy not just in weight, but with a strange energy I couldn't quite place. I brought it inside, setting it on the cluttered coffee table, a lone island in a sea of takeout containers and unopened bills. For a moment, I just stared at it. Procrastination was my middle name. But this felt different. Urgent. With a sigh, I sliced through the packing tape. Inside, nestled among packing peanuts, was a single, thick, cream-colored envelope. My name was on it again, in that same familiar script. It was my own handwriting, but aged shakier, as if written by a hand that had seen too much. My heart started to pound. This was impossible. Itorit. Open. The letter inside was dated 20 years from today. If you're reading this, it began, then I haven't failed completely. At least in Tome. And listen carefully. Our life, the one you're living right now, is a dead end. I sank into my worn-out armchair, the paper trembling in my hand. The letter went on to describe my days with frightening accuracy. The dead-end job I hated but was too scared to leave. The novel I started years ago, now gathering dust on my hard drive. The woman I loved, but never had the courage to tell. It was all there. Every regret, every missed opportunity, laid bare on the page. It felt like a stranger was peering directly into my soul, except that stranger was me. He wrote about the loneliness, the quiet desperation that would eventually consume him. Consume es. You think you have time? The letter continued. You tell yourself tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll start writing again. Tomorrow you'll call her. Tomorrow you'll quit that soul-crushing job. But tomorrow becomes next week. 10 next year. Then a decade passes in the blink of an eye, and all you're left with is a mountain of tomorrows you can never get back. You're at a crossroads. The path you're on leads to a quiet, gray existence. An empty apartment. A silent phone. A heart full of what-ifs. I am living your worst-case scenario. I am the ghost of your future. His words hit me like a physical blow. I looked around my apartment, really looked at it for the first time in months. The faded posters, the pile of laundry, the single dirty coffee mug by the sink. It wasn't a home, it was a waiting room. I was waiting for my life to start, but I was the only one who could open the door. The letter didn't offer a magic solution. There was no winning lottery number or stock tip. Just a plea. Don't become me, it said. Fight. Write that book, even if no one reads it. Make that gal, even if she says no. Live, please. For both our sakes. Just live. At the bottom of the box, beneath the packing peanuts, was one last item. A brand new, empty notebook. And a simple, elegant pen. A starting point. A blank page. For the first time in a long, long time. I didn't feel tired. I felt a flicker of something I hadn't felt since I was a kid. Hope. I picked up the pen, its weight cool and solid in my hand. I opened the notebook to the first page. The future wasn't written yet. Not my future, anyway. And as I started to write, I knew I wasn't just writing for me. I was writing for him, too. It was a promise. A promise to change our story, one word at a time. Thanks for watching.